The English translation that I found is purification of the soul, and this is what's used as a standard thing, but still, you know, it's very difficult to translate Arabic terms. But inshallah, I'll talk about the definition. So I like the saying of one of the scholars when he started talking about the tazkiyat nafs. He said, Alhamdulillah, الذي أنار النفوس بطاعته وعظمها فأقسم بها لترقى في منازل جنته ثم الصلاة والسلام على من أرسله الله معلما ومزكيا للنفوس ومبشرا ونذيرا. So praise be to Allah who enlightened the souls by His obedience, and He made them great, and He swears by them, by the souls, to elevate them in their classes and ranks of His paradise. And then peace and blessings be upon whom Allah sent as a teacher who purifies souls and bringing glad tidings and a warner. So just the outline of this, these series of sessions, we'll have it inshallah every other week. So every one Wednesday we'll have it, we'll have Seerah, and the next Wednesday we'll have inshallah tazkiyat nafs. I will continue saying tazkiyat nafs because I don't feel good saying purification of the soul, because I feel that the meaning is different. But inshallah I will get to the definition, and then we will all be on the same tazkiyat nafs. We will all say tazkiyat nafs all the time, inshallah. So it's around 25 sessions, inshallah. It might be a bit less or more, but for the plan now it's 25 sessions. And inshallah next week we will have no session on purification and tazkiyat nafs, and we will not have Seerah. So next week is we don't have any session, inshallah. Okay, so as an introduction, tazkiyat nafs is purification of your soul. Nafs, I think you all know the meaning of nafs, but nafs is a very difficult term to translate, because soul is not nafs, soul is ruh. So soul is more like it's not the spirit, but nafs is something that I'm going inshallah to define. I'll do my best to define it in a better way. And the term tazkiyat nafs was used in the Quran in many times and in many ways. So even it had different meaning. So one of them is for example the Surah Al-Shams. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. I will say the translation. So this means that it's good to do tazkiyat nafs. Right, so the winners, or the people who are succeed, who are successful, are the people who are going to purify their nafs or their soul. Another place in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تُزَكُّوا أَنفُسَكُمْ, and do not purify your soul. But in this case, the meaning is not purify, it's not elevate your soul. Do not think that you are better than the others. So you try to do that, but do not think that you are the best. And actually part of learning yourself how to purify your soul is not to think that you're better. So you're doing your best, but you're not saying that I reached something. You're just humbling yourself. Actually, the key ayah is the ayah of Surah Al-Shams, because I'm going to say the first 10 ayat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is swearing by the great creature that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. So start with the Shams. So you see everything that I'm going to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to swear by in this surah is all physical great things. So وَالشَّمْسِ وَضُحَاهَا وَالْقَمَرِ إِذَا تَلَاهَا, and the moon. So by the sun and its brightness, and by the moon when it follows the sun, and by the day when it reveals it, and the night when it enshrouds it, and the heaven and him who built it, and the earth and him who spread it out. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about the soul, which is something, it's not physical, spiritual. Something inside ourselves. It's not something that's physical. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describe it in more details. It's not like the other. Each of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala swears by, He mentioned only one thing about it. So الشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها. So it's not a lot of description. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the soul in this ayah, He said, and the soul and him who perfected it and inspired it with awareness of what is wrong for it and what's right for it. And he indeed successful who purifies it, and he is indeed failure who neglects it. So you can see that the purification of the soul, or the soul itself, is as important as the other, and maybe it's even more important because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned many more than one ayah only describing the soul, not like the other previous creation, the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created. So tazkiyah in the Arabic language means purifying cleansing, so purification and cleansing, and also improving. So it's something like something that you purify, you make things better, and you improve things. And also it comes from the same root word of zakah. So zakah and tazkiyah come from the root word, and also the meaning is close, because zakah is actually how you purify your wealth by giving zakah to the right of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, then we're just going over the ayat where tazkiyat nafs was mentioned in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Surah Al-A'la, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. And he has certainly succeeded who purifies himself and mentioned the name of his Lord and praise. So in this ayah, try to see the purification word and what's linked to it. So a successful person is the one who purifies himself and mention the name of Allah and praise. So these things are linked, always linked. The next ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he ordered Prophet Moses to go to the Pharaoh, he told him in Surah An-Nazi'at, فَقُلْ هَلْ لَكَ إِلَىٰ أَن تَزَكَّى وَأَهْدِيَكَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَتَخْشَى. And say to him, O Moses, would you be willing to purify yourself and let me guide you to your Lord so you would fear him? So purification has something to fearing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these are always linked to fearing Allah, doing ibadah. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Jum'ah, he said about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين. So he يعلمهم يزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the one who purifies the souls of the believers. Or I'll mention the translation of the words of this ayah. And it is he who has sent among the unliterate a messenger from themselves, reciting to them his verses and purifying them and teaching them the book and wisdom, although they were before in clear error. So you see, tazkiyah is linked to getting the teaching from Prophet ﷺ and Quran, getting the book and the wisdom from Prophet ﷺ. Another ayah also shows that how you purify yourself will put you in different levels in Surah Taha. I will skip this, but yeah, I'll mention it. But whoever comes to him as a believer, having done righteous deeds, for those will be the highest degree in position, gardens of perpetual residence beneath which the rivers flow. So this is describing the Jannah, where they abide eternally, and that is the reward of one who purifies himself. So the Jannah and the description of the Jannah is for whom? The person who purifies himself. So someone might say that, okay, in this ayat, this means that if you become a Muslim, then you already purified yourself. So it's related to believing in the Prophet, reading the Quran, or the teaching of the Quran, or doing ibadah. So this is the meaning, right? So some people might say that based on these ayat. But let's now get to some details about how the Prophet ﷺ. Let's first get to the first ayah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. So it's something that we should take care ourselves. It's not something that happens once. It's something that we should take care of ourselves. So the good person who purifies himself. So it seems that it's not only believing is enough. No, there is a process that's taking place. Another proof that it's not just being a Muslim or believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then you have to purify yourself from the shirk, because one of the meaning is that you provide himself from the shirk. So this is one level of tazkiyat your nafs. But the Prophet ﷺ said, عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إن العبد إذا أخطأ خطيئة نكتت في قلبه نكتة سوداء فإذا هو نزع واستغفر تاب سقل قلبه وإذا عاد زيد فيها حتى تعلو قلبه وهو الران الذي ذكر الله كلا بران على قلوبهم ما كانوا يكسبون. This hadith is also essential hadith if we relate it to tazkiyat al-nafs. Prophet said, إن العبد, the slave, if he commit a sin, then there will be a black dot on his heart. And if he do istighfar, then it will be cleaned again. And if he make more sins, related sins, then he will have another black dot. And if he continue, then it will be like a cover on his heart. And this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, linked it to the ayah, كَلَّا بَرَّانَ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. Indeed, this cover or this rust on their hearts is by what they have done. So by the sins that they committed. So you can see now that purifying yourself by istighfar, this is one example in this ayah, in this hadith and ayah. This means that it is a process. So it's something like a training. It's something that you keep your nafs as something that you are considering all your life. I don't want my nafs to continue being this way. I would like to improve it, and it's continuous improve of your nafs. So it is a process. And this hadith Hasan al-Albani. What are the sayings, the hadith and the sayings of the scholars about the skiyat al-nafs? The famous dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Allahumma ati nafsi taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khayra man zakkaha anta waliyaha wa mawlaha." This is the hadith in Muslim. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked Allah in this hadith to get piety to his nafs and to purify it. Wa zakkiha anta khayra man. You are the best who purifies our souls. This is hadith, so this proves that it's a continuous thing, because Prophet ﷺ asked it, and actually Prophet ﷺ used to say this dua. He didn't only say it once. And if Prophet ﷺ asked Allah to purify his soul, then how about ourselves? And Ibn Qayyim said, لا يستطيع الإنسان أن يحقق المعالي من الأمور إلا بمجاهدة نفسه وجعلها عدوة له. So Ibn Qayyim said something a bit. A human being, he will not be able to reach higher levels except by struggling against himself, and he make his soul as his enemy. So he's considered that the nafs is trying to let you do bad things, and you always be taking it as your enemy. So if you find yourself, you would like to do something like that seems to be haram, then he say, anything that comes from it, I will not accept it, even if he's not sure if it's haram or not. So he made it really as an enemy. And Ibn Rajab, one of the great scholars, he said that the nafs تحتاج إلى محاربة ومجاهدة ومعاداة. So he said the nafs, the soul, it needs, actually he said muharaba, which comes from war against your nafs. Mujahada, and jihad against your nafs, and mu'adah, and you make your nafs as your enemy. And he said that it is the greatest, the strongest enemy for the human being. So who controls himself and he has more power over it, then, so if you humiliate your nafs, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will higher your level. Because he is the one, and he is going to get a high level because he become victorious over his biggest enemy, which is his nafs. But this is in one of the stages. I will get to this in details, but now for the first stage, this for sure you should consider your nafs as your enemy. And Al-Ghazali says something very effective in this. He said, اعلم أن أعدى عدوك نفسك التي بين جنبيك. And know that your greatest enemy is your soul, that is inside your body. قد خلقت أمارة بالسوء مبالغة في الشر فرارة من الخير. So it is created that it has a tendency to take you to the bad things, to the sins, and it is extreme in evil, and it is escaping from everything that's good, and you are ordered to purify it and to make it correct and to chain it by chains of humiliation, and to make it worshipping its creator and God, and also prevent it from going through the lusts, and the lusts. So he said more details about this, but the scholars are talking about nafs is something like your enemy, and you should deal with it in the worst way. So there is no mercy with your nafs. And again, what Al-Ghazali said was, he said هي تكميل النفس الإنسانية بقمع أهوائها وإطلاق خصائصها العليا. And this is actually a very important phrase. Ghazali said that tazkiyah, which is purifying yourself, is completing, so making you as a human complete by suppressing the bad inclinations of your nafs and letting the good things about your nafs grow. And this actually is more in line with the ayah of Surah Al-Shams, because Prophet ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. So the nafs has something bad and also had something good. He said وَتَقْوَاهَا. So this is also something good. So it is like a paper. You train it to be good or you train it to be bad. But it is accepting both. So the nafs is something that you can train. So it is not the enemy all the time because it has something good. Because in our fitra, in our instinct, in our nature, we also have tendency to do good things. But then we should train it to only keep the good things and improve it and reduce the bad things or suppressing it. And Al-Ghazali said also something, and I see this as a key thing about tazkiyat nafs. He said al-irtiqa bil-nafs, so hiring the level of your nafs step by step from what is bad to what is better, and then making it better and better to make it good and even better, till it moves from the nafs of Ammara bisu that brings you to do bad deeds, to a nafs al-lawama that actually that blames you if you do something bad. So this is better than the one that lets you do bad things. And then you reach the nafs which is mutma'inna, which is the comfortable or the calm, quiet nafs that is accepting what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring to it. And this is the highest level. So this proves all these things, the sayings of the Prophet and the sayings of the scholar, that it is a process. So it's not something once, alhamdulillah, I'm Muslim, then I'm fine. No, that after that there are different levels of people. Let's talk about some examples. So imagine that someone would like to become a heavy lifter, and he starts saying, inshallah, I will go for Firdaus al-A'la. So I'm going to carry something at 200 kilograms. And will he able to do this in a week? No, never. We need training. So you can see the difference between people. So if you see someone who is praying, for example, Qiyam al-Layl every day, and so will you ask him, did you pray Dhuhr? You will never ask him if you prayed Dhuhr or not, because this one is already past this level, because he trained himself. He made it easy for himself to wake up at night and do. And it's different from someone who has troubles with praying Dhuhr, for example, during the working day. So you see that this nafs, if you train it well for doing the good things, it will make a big difference and between levels of people. So yeah, we cannot reach the highest level of paradise if we not train our nafs. If we say, I'm just fine, or I'm alhamdulillah Muslim, I'm just praying on time, then you will not be in the highest level, because some people are working on themselves. And similarly, studying for an exam. If you have an exam, you cannot say, I'm fine, tomorrow I'll go study and I'll go to the exam the next day. This will never happen. And why don't we consider the hereafter as we consider our exams and our training for anything? As a Muslim, we should consider them, if we even consider it the same way, although they are not on the same level, if we consider them the same, then we will act differently for our preparation for the hereafter. And actually I'm saying this to myself and before you. So actually this series of Tazkiyat Nafs is very important for me, because I really wanted to study this more. So I'm not saying, I'm not here, we are yeah, you never know who is better than the other, but I'm telling you that this is very important for everybody to train himself. But are there exceptions? Are there people who can once get to a higher level? There are some examples, but these examples are because Prophet ﷺ mentioned something, like the Jew who he said he became Muslim and he went to the Prophet and he said, I'm a Muslim, and he agreed with that, and then he went directly to jihad with the Muslim, then he got killed. And Prophet ﷺ said that he did little, but he is rewarded, he get a great reward. He didn't pray even once, but he did jihad and he get a high level. But this, nobody will know if that was going to happen to him. And actually we know about it because Prophet ﷺ told us about it. Otherwise we will not know anything about it. So this, yes, there are exceptions, but we should not depend on exceptions. We will never say, I'm going to an oral exam and study one question and then see what's going to happen. We will never do that in dunya, but we are doing this in akhirah, and we should not do that. And this is an important thing, because we should, how do you call it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should see it as, see His greatness, and we should not deal with ahkam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a way that we just get gambled, if we get it or not get it. We should really take that seriously. For example, I'm just now talking about the example of people who do train themselves and who do not train themselves. So if a person who's doing adultery and you ask him to lower your gaze, will he understand the Ghadd al-Basar? He will not understand it. It's a different level. So this shows the different levels of people, how much they train themselves. Imagine a murderer and you said imatat al-aza an al-tariq, so removing the obstacles or harm thing from the way, and he said murderer. So we should put the level for ourselves. What's level we should be at? Are we going to be the level of inshallah will not get to the level of murderer, but we should be in the level of at least imatat al-aza an al-tariq. We should be in the level that maximum lower our gaze is our problem. It's not adultery or not continuously lowering our gaze and we remember once not to lower our gaze. No, we should choose for yourself the level that you would like to be at, and train yourself for the level that you would like to reach. And as we are very greedy and would like to get to the higher levels in our exams and our lives and to be successful and have successful careers, we should also consider al-akhirah, which is much more important. Now we get to types of nafs in Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned different types of nafs. I mentioned them briefly, but I'm going to get this into details. I'll mention 3. Some scholars put 5, but the logical, but most of them are put 3 types of nafs. Nafs al-ammara bis-su', which is the nafs that encourages the person to do bad things. So this is type of nafs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in Quran, in Surah Yusuf, وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةً بِالسُّوءِ. So he said, I'm not saying that I'm a victim or I'm innocent, because the nafs is encouraging people to do bad things. And this is whom? This is a prophet. And an important thing to mention here, some people say, no, don't worry, I'm not going to do this, and alhamdulillah, I'm fine. I will not reach this level. And even Prophet Yusuf alayhi, he did not say that. He said, in this surah, maybe a few ayahs before, he said, oh Allah, if you leave me to them, I'm going to commit the adultery. Who said that? Prophet Yusuf. And for sure he didn't do that, but he was worried about himself. So if you train yourself well, you will be afraid of any kind of sin. Not saying, no, alhamdulillah, I'm not do that. It's like people who like to do da'wah. I've seen this. So people say, we don't care, I can give da'wah to girls, and also if they are not wearing hijab, don't worry, I lowered my gaze, I will go to give them da'wah. And he starts sitting with girls. Come on, you are now finding yourself as a pure person or close to an angel, that you're not going to look at that? Why didn't you ask a sister to take care of that? So you know what I mean. So you should not think yourself as a high level, so try to do your best. But yeah, for sure there are some excuses, there are some situations that are different. We should not put hukm for every single situation, but do not think that you are higher than anybody, and also think of your nafs. You have a good nafs. Nafs al-lawama. So it's a nafs that after committing a sin, so it's the blaming nafs, so that blames someone after doing something. So after doing a ma'asi or a sin, then it tells you why did you do that, and let you think a lot about that. And actually this is better than the nafs al-ammara, because even there is kind of tawbah there in this nafs. And the third type of nafs is the nafs al-mutma'inna. So mutma'inna means that it's calm nafs, it's comfortable nafs that accepts what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives, and it's safe nafs, as they call. So it does not get very, the person does not get very afraid of anything except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He does not get very sad about things, so there's accepting nafs. And this is the description of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we cannot say, Alhamdulillah, I have the nafs mutma'inna, I'm done. And then, no, there is nothing like that. And also, even if you have a good nafs, then you should train yourself to get a higher nafs. There is no end to improve yourself. And what is the I mentioned it, but I want to emphasize on this point. If you train your nafs to be good, then the nafs will not be your enemy after training it well. The nafs will be the thing that guides you to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered you. So your nafs, or what your desire, will be in line with the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after training. Proofs of that, I can say about some of the tabi'een. His name is Muhammad ibn al-Munkadir. He said, كابدت نفسي 40 عاما حتى استقامت لي. He said, I have kind of tortured my nafs for 40 years till it became straight. 40 years. So he thinks that it's straight. And for sure he is a tabi'een, and so tabi'een is the one who was learned by the Sahaba, which is a great thing. So he felt that his nafs became good after 40 years. And for ourselves, and none of us is already 40 years, and people think that they are good. But no, so he said 40 years, and then I felt that it's okay. Thabit al-Banani is another tabi'i. Also he said, for Qiyam al-Layl, he said, I kabattu, so I kind of forced my nafs for 20 years to do Qiyam al-Layl. So it was difficult for him to do Qiyam al-Layl. And then after the other two, and for 20 years, I enjoyed Qiyam al-Layl. So you see that how his nafs changed from resisting Qiyam al-Layl to enjoy Qiyam al-Layl. So there is a fruit of jihading your nafs. So you will not do that forever. Inshallah, your nafs is going to be trained, and then it will like doing good things. And Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, he said that أفضل الأعمال ما أكرهت عليه نفسك. So the best things, the best deeds that you do is that what you force your nafs to do. So your nafs does not want to do. Because this is the most difficult thing. The other question is that if you think about your nafs, you should think of who is leading. Is it you or your desire or your nafs? And this is an important question. If you find that you cannot control your nafs or control your body, then there is something wrong. Regardless if we're talking about Islam or any religion, you as a human being, you will not be successful in this dunya if you cannot control your desires in a way or another. So as any new thing that you'd like to do, the tazkiyat and nafs, purifying your soul, start by it has two main steps. The first step is, they call it al-takhliya. Takhliya means first purify, or make your, if you have a bowl that you would like to fill it with something good, then you first need to make it empty. After making it empty of all the bad things, then you can add the good things there. So you cannot say, okay, I'm going to just start putting good things in my nafs, and there's still a lot of things that you love that is bad. No, start first, purify things, and then start adding more things. This actually this saying of takhliya, which is first make it empty and then add the good things. This is for everything related to Islamic studies, even for studying Islamic sciences. This is the first thing that they say. First, remove all the bad concepts that you have before starting getting new information. So in this case, you should get rid of all your them. So first part of tazkiyah is to first repent. You need to repent, and you need to know what are the bad things that you have done so that you do not do it again. So because the main problem is that some people do not know that what they are doing is wrong. The other thing is to know what is good, what are the manners, the akhlaq, and the habits good habits that you would like to do, and then you plan how to do it. You know it, and you plan how to do it. Inshallah, next time it will also be part of it will be about an introduction, as continuation of the introduction about tazkiyat nafs, and then we are going to talk about the diseases of the heart. So what are the diseases that you would like to get rid of, and how to get rid of that according to the Quran and Sunnah of the Prophet and the sayings of the scholars. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك.